Baker, the Ubuntu Community Manager, again broadcasting from Dallas, USA. We're here for a week with a bunch of Ubuntu developers, and I'm delighted today to have a member of the community team, David and Danilo, who is helping to lead our translations community. So we're going to talk about translations and why it's really important to Ubuntu. So tell us, why is translations a core principle and a core ethos in what we're trying to do with Ubuntu?
Well, it's a matter of accessibility. I mean, having an operating system translated in a language actually enables you to use it. I mean, there's some people we always assume that in this world, in open source, generally the language, the vehicle language is English for all our communications. But actually, there's lots of people who cannot read English or cannot speak English, and in this case, having their operating system translated is the only way to use it. And yeah, it's another way of also preserving the language. I mean, some languages haven't got that much presence in other operating systems, like proprietary ones. And in Ubuntu, we enable them as well to actually use it in their language.
And give us an idea of the size and the scope, because it's a pretty sizable community. There's a lot of work going on there. I mean, how many languages? How many people are involved? Broad approximation of how many people are involved?
Yeah, I mean, to have the big number, it's a bit difficult, but just to estimate, just to give a couple of numbers, we've got like about 150 translation teams registered in Launchpad. That's a tool we use for translation. Yeah, I mean, in terms of translation, we've got different degrees of translation coverage. We've got about 40 languages in which we consider Ubuntu translated completely, but there's lots and lots of other ones that you can still use Ubuntu perfectly well in that particular language. In terms of translators, yeah, I mean, the size of translation teams varies, so you can just get the idea of 150 translation teams, let's say 10 people per team, so that's quite a lot of translators. In Launchpad itself, we've got like, I think it was about 15,000 translators or something like that. I mean, you have to put this in a bit of context, because this counts people who have done like only small contributors or just only a small suggestion, but that really helps as well. So
right.
Yeah.
So how did you tell us the story about how you got involved in Ubuntu translations, and then obviously Canonical as well?
Right. So I mean, that's actually the first way I got involved in open source. I mean, I was way back when I was still in England. I was living in England for a while. I used to use the operating system in English, and sometime I just switched to my native language in Catalan, and I was just blown away by the quality of the translation and the effort of the people who had done the translation of a complete operating language. And yeah, just had to look. I mean, I had to look at some things that might need fixing or might not be translated, and I got more and more involved, or more interested. Started looking around for how to get involved, and I actually found out that I could do things. Yeah, I had this opportunity to get in a community and contribute to this project, and that was something really exciting. And yeah, I mean, that was basically the way I started. I started with several projects in GNOME, for example, until I started using Ubuntu, and then I just got involved in translating Ubuntu. I mean, one of the things that I did was to contribute quite a lot in the translation team for my particular language, yeah, the more and more I contributed, I started taking more of a leading role, and I started coordinating the team. And I also started getting more and more involved in the global translations community, not only in the local team, but more in the international community. And yeah, at the time where I was getting more and more involved, I was also thinking of changing job a bit, and yeah, so there was this new position for the Ubuntu Translations Coordinator to lead the Ubuntu Translations community, and started thinking about it, and yeah, I just went.
And you got the job.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job with that.
Thank you.
So you talk about the global translations community. And the local translations community, and the global community is people who have an interest in helping the teams to work together.
Exactly.
and the processes in which people translate to be as effective as possible. And we were meeting up earlier on, and you said that you'd like to see more growth there. I mean, sell the idea of what you'd like to see, so
right.
these lovely people on the internet can join us.
Right. So just to put a bit of background there, we're talking about different degrees of involvement. I think most of the people who are involved in translating Ubuntu are involved in translating in their languages, and they participate. They are quite active in their local teams, but they do not participate in the global community, which is perfectly fine. But on the global translations community, we've got different teams or different representatives from each team, and we discuss things that affect the broader translations community. And this is some work that is really, really important because it affects the direction of the project. And I mean, basically, in addition to translating to your own language, if you're participating in the global translations community, you're basically helping like hundreds of other languages and hundreds of people you basically enable them to translate Ubuntu better and to let people know more about this work. So that's an area where we really need help, and we would appreciate everyone to participate. I mean, there's different ways to do this. The most common one is we've got a mailing list, and people just get involved in there and discuss things that affect the direction of the whole Ubuntu translations project. We've got UDSs where we've got always specific sessions about translations, and where we basically discuss the strategy for the project. So
so tell us which mailing list people should join if they want to participate.
Yeah, it's really easy. Just Ubuntu-translators at list.ubuntu.com. If we go to wiki.ubuntu.com/translations, you'll find all the info there as well.
So a lot of people who'll be watching now will be familiar with the concept of they can switch Ubuntu into a language that's more convenient for them. For lots of reasons, a lot of people actually switch their language when they're learning the language. Not only is, I know George has done that, and not only in terms of actually if they speak that language, but a lot of people are in the dark about how the translation happens. I mean, how do people participate? If somebody wants to help out and translate and improve one of those languages into a and have better support in Ubuntu, how would they actually get started?
Right. So, I mean, as with any other area in Ubuntu, we've got a community that's divided in regional teams. The work in translation in Ubuntu is basically done by translation teams. We've got generally one per language, and we always tend to recommend that people go to these translation teams and get in touch with them to get started, because they are the ones that are going to teach them or mentor them on how to get started. But basically, the other important thing in Ubuntu translations is the tool that we use. We've got a really awesome translations tool where you can do translations online, which is called Launchpad Translations. And basically, what you can do is just go there and start translating the whole of the operating system. So these are the easy ways to get started. You can just go to translations.ubuntu. You can go to launchpad.net. Wait a second. It's translations.launchpad.net/Ubuntu, and then you can basically get started translating Ubuntu.
Sounds good. And just to, just from my personal experience, it's really easy. I know English and American English.
Yeah,
but for me to translate it was really, even as somebody who's never done it before, I tried it a while back, and it's dead simple. So it's, you don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to be technical in any way, really,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we put really an emphasis in lowering the barrier for contribution. This doesn't mean that you can just everyone can go there and change translations, but you can. There's the possibility of sending suggestions, and it's a really easy UI. You can just go there. You can see the string or the message in English, and you can just translate it in a text box. Save it. You can save it. You can just do a couple of translations. save it, then go back after a couple of days or after a couple of hours and just continue translation.
So you just dip in here and there.
Exactly.
When you've got 10 minutes,
Exactly.
you can do a little bit more later on.
Yeah, it's really comfortable because that's
Cool.
it's really easy to get involved and to well, basically it's quite flexible in the way you can get involved, and you can do reviews as well. You can get in touch with translation teams and tell them to look. Could you have a look at this translation? Do you think they're okay? You can accept them.
So you can get some help.
Yeah, exactly.
So the final thing I want to ask you, which I think everybody's going to be curious about, is this T-shirt is awesome.
Yeah.
Explain.
Right. So that's basically, if you can see this here, softcatalan.org. This is we were talking about how I got involved in translations. That's softcatala.org is basically a translations group in which we it's a non-profit association in which we do translations for the Catalan language, and we not only work in Ubuntu but in lots of other projects, because well, basically everything that gets in our hands gets translated, and yeah, so that's somewhere where I'm involved, and I've got the privilege of working with lots and lots of awesome people, translators, designers, sysadmins, you name it. So that's another nice community.
Fantastic. Well, Dave, thanks very much. Appreciate it. If you're on Freenode, use DPM, and go and check it out and get involved.